Morning, Kum Leonard Ablat Gemara. Today's daf is daf Lamed Daled. We're actually up to Lamed Daled on the base, the very top of the page. So we're continuing cases, fascinating Gemara, the secrets of the Gemara, case after case after case, where you have a dispute about a property and who we give the property to. So here's a different kind of a case. Ahu Arbe, there was a boat. There were two people arguing on this boat. Hi Amadidihi, one person said boat is mine. Hi Amadidihi, another person claimed the boat is mine. But neither of them have any evidence whatsoever to corroborate their claims, including none of them had a chazakah. Also, Chad Menayla Beitir. So one of them approached the Bezin, and Omar, and he said to the Bezin, Keep Suah. He said to the Bezin, do me a favor, seize the boat in the meantime, in like a trust account, at the Maisina Sadi, until I will eventually bring witnesses that the dihi, it's mine. I want you to seize it because I'm scared that he'll go and sell it. He won't go and seize it because that's not going to help. Once a dispute arises, the fact that you're typhus does not help. But I'm worried he'll sell it, and then it's going to be very difficult to extract it from that person. The question is, Tafsina, listen, the doesn't have a role to play here when there's no adjudication here whatsoever, and you're going to see the property. You're not going to see the property. Says the Gemara. Rav Huna Omar Tafsina. Rav Huna says yes, we will seize the property. We will seize the property. Sorry, Rav Huna. Let's give a line. Rav Huna Omar Tafsina. Rav Yehuda says light Tafsina. Yeah. Rav said you're typhus, and Rabbi Yehuda said you're not typhus. Now, what's the machlekes depend on? So, according to the Rashbam, Taisha doesn't like it, but the Rashbam says we're soon going to have a machlekes. Does Bezin? Let's finish the Gemara. I'll come back to it. Said the Gemara. Then when I said, okay, what happened was Ashker. The story continues. Ashker, he went out to search for witnesses. Ashker, Ozli went. Well, Ashker said he couldn't find any witnesses. Amalu, he went back to the Bezin and said, look, a month went by, I exhausted all avenues, I thought I would have witnesses, I can't find any. Of course, release it now. Back to the same way it was before. Two people disputing the property. And then, B'chol Za'alim Gemara. Again, interesting. I told you last time that you have all these new modern Gemaras that have Kudusins, and they all make up their own stuff. Because half of it is not right. But anyway, so here's a perfect example, another example. When I was in Shiva, it was always Alam Gemara. And I looked last night just to see, or yesterday, and I see that Steinsaltz has Gvar, Archel has Govar. Also can make up its mind. In one place they say Gvar, one place they say Govar. They use Hebrew rules for Aramaic Gemara. It's just interesting again. So he said that what's going to happen is that. I'm sorry, I don't know. I brought it Gemara last night, and this is a bit. So we're up to the Gemara here. I'll just quickly bring you up to speed. Two people were fighting over a boat. It's the famous case called Ha'arda, and neither of them had any evidence or anything. One guy said to the Bezin, "Seize it while I try to find Aiden." And there's an argument whether Bezin will seize it because there's no ruling in this case. And now we have another argument. Now that he couldn't find witnesses, the Bezin release it or they don't release it. Mafkin will Bezin release it because Bezin can't rule over here. Bezin is just going to release it and put it back the way it was. Does Bezin release things without making a ruling? You don't release it, and the Papa Mafkin, you do release it. The Hilchasad, like the sin, we don't, Bezin in the first instance won't grab it. If they grab it, they won't release it. So the way that Rashbam knows the Gemara is as follows. The two machlekes are predicated on each other. If Bezin won't release it, then Bezin shouldn't take it in the first place. Because once you take it, it's not fair because the real owner is going to lose out. So Bezin won't take it. But if Bezin will release it, then Bezin can hold on to it, secure, make sure that everything's all right, give the guy a certain amount of time to bring witnesses, and then if not, release it back bring it back out there. What exactly is that depend on could be as follows. Big machlek is a shaynim in the concept of kol da'alim gvar. In fact, before we get to that, let's go to the next two lines about it, and then we'll come back here. Which is this is the next thing I'll say is maybe. Previously, each one said the boat is mine. Now, each one now says this belonged to my father, and I inherited it. But we don't know who's telling the truth, and neither of them have any corroboration, no witnesses, nothing. What do we do? Amar Rav Nachman, Kol the Alim Gvar. Whoever is stronger wins. A concept called and calling about. The Rishonim here, but really the main thing is the beginning of Metzia discuss why don't we say Yachleika here like we say Shnai Moichs and Betalis. So the standard answer is because over there they're both holding on to it. And when you're holding on your Muchazokim, that automatically tells us that part of it is yours. So therefore the right psak would be Yachleiku. Over here, neither of them's holding on to it. So we have no idea. In fact, we're sitting more later, could be belongs to neither of them. So therefore you can't say Yachleik over here. What we do say is called the Alam Gvar. That's the one. The other answer is over here, one of them is definitely a liar. It's either this guy's boat or that guy's boat. So therefore, this property is that guy's or this property is that guy's. So one's a liar, how can I say Yachleiku? It's definitely wrong psak. Because one of them is getting something that doesn't belong to them. But in the case of the Mishnah, we learned that it's possible it belongs to both. Maybe they picked it up. Maybe they both picked it up at the same time, and therefore Yachleiku could be the right psak, and that's why each one thinks that they were there first. Because in Toman Mitzia, they found something. Each one claimed on even to see I found it first, and so on. So it's possible.
That's not what they're saying. They're not saying that they found it.
Yeah, of course it is. No, that's here. That's here. We're explaining the difference between this case here and the first Mishnah in Bava Basra, where they would say Yachleiku. The reason is over there, it's possible Taka belongs to both. A different answer altogether what we just told a minute ago. Could be belongs to both. So Yachleiku might be the right one. Here it's impossible belongs to both. Either Tzavoy Sai or Tzavoy Sai. It can't be both. So with a Vadai Ramai, alone Yachleiku. Why?
Boat. It's a big. They're going to come with a boat.
No, this next case is not a boat. It's not the question. The question is why can't it be Yachleiku here? No. The question is why don't we paskin the same way Yachleiku? Isn't that the fairest thing? We don't know what to do. Just divide. What exactly is called the Al Gavad? Big Machlek is a shame. According to the Rosh, once Reuven and Shimon having a dispute, and once they say call down Gavad, let's say Reuven manages to take control, that's it. Then Shimon can no longer come back and play for it again. Once whoever take control, there's control. The only way Shimon can ever take it out is bring real proof, bring Aiden, Shtar, something. That's the rush. Others paskin that no, in halach as well, they have the same machlekes, that it keeps on going. Why should he keep it? Because he was stronger at this moment. The next guy will be stronger. And it goes further than that. What's the base of that machlekes? Is kol the alul gevar a psak, or kol the alul gevar means business folding on? We don't know what to do. We're walking away. Is kol the gevar we're walking away? The guy fight it out. What should we do? Is that the psak or the psak? That is the psak. The psak is kol the alul gevar because we are convinced whoever the real owner is won't give up, will persist, and even though the other person might be a person who's alim, who's very strong, and with terrible tactics, but that guy knows that he's really a ganef, and this guy's a real owner, and he sees the guy's lost his cheru. I'll find another property to steal and let this guy have. So it's a psak, and that is the difference. When we say will Bezin release it back and say kol dal gavar, once Bezin has control, if it's not a psak, it's like a zelusha the beidina. The Bezin already got involved, and then they just say we don't know what to do. That's the worst kind of optics you can have, that a Bezin does. But if that's in itself is a psak, the Bezin can give it back because they're paskening. Not the kind of psak you'd like, but that's the psak. That's the basis of that machlek is there, and that's the basis of machlek is how to understand kol dam gavar.
Someone, if they come to Bezin and one of them already has control, does that count, or it's whatever after the psak first?
If one of them already has control, but what if let's say has no chazak or anything else, it's meaningless. Because just because you're in the car, remember, car can't be stolen. So just because you're sitting in the car, if you're there for a year, it's nothing. In fact, yesterday we learned it makes it even worse because you have to pay back whoever the real owner is, not the car, but also all the fruits and the produce you took as well. So we're talking about a case where there's no proof whatsoever. If one guy has a metallic, let's say,
you gain physical control.
Yeah, but it doesn't matter.
Instead of it being after the psak, you did it right before the psak.
It doesn't matter. Trisa after the dispute started doesn't help at all. If one guy was already there and the other guy comes along and says it's my property and he has no proof, then even though this guy doesn't have a chazaka, what basis are you going to pull it out? We don't take away anything from anybody. We're talking about a case where nobody's there, or both of them are there. So then each one is the same. Yeah, exactly. And any case. Yeah. Says the Gemara, okay, let me ask you a question. So he introduced a new concept. You know, we have a thing called Yachleku. We have a thing called Hashaya Hemunach Hachayovalio. In the case of the $300, one guy gave 100, gave 200. Each one claims that they gave the 200. Machlekes of Yesi, the Chachamim, but we do, and the Chachamim, they give back each one 100 because that they all agree. And the outstanding 100, Yehemunach Hachayovalio. But over there, we don't say Kol Dal Gavar as well. We'll show you want to know why do we say Kol Dal Gavar there. And the reason is because the third party is holding on to it as if he's holding on to both. It's in a way, it's like Mukhzokim. But on the other hand, because the Hey Ramai, so we can't say Yachleku, because one of them definitely does not own that $100. On the other hand, we can't just say go fight it out and just walk away because it's as if they're both takers, because this third party, they both appointed to hold money for them. So therefore, we sort of give this new thing. So now we ask a question. How is it any different? You have two studies that come out on the same day. The Rav says two studies came out on the same day, and each one claims that that his star was first, and that they were the genuine buyer. They were the genuine buyer. The Gemara clearly had the story about the two brothers with the mother. About Ukva Bar Chama and the other Bar Chama, I forgot his first name, I'm bringing it down. Ram Bar Chama and Ukva Bar Chama, the mother decided to give one in the morning, and then after she changed her mind, gave to the other one. So they had a big machlekes. And over there we say, because, and actually Mark Suez makes it totally in the machlekes of Meir Rabbi Lazar, if we say, whether we say Eide Chasimakas, Eide Masirakas. If you say that the witnesses of sign are the ones who make the get actual, activate the star, Eide Chasimakas or star, not just a get. So then, if it's not self-evident from the star what time of the day it is, then we say it means it doesn't start till that night. It doesn't matter if you did 9 o'clock in the morning or 4 in the afternoon. It only kicks in at night, and that's why you don't know who the mother gave it to. And therefore we say Rav says Yachleku and Shmuel says Shuda the Daina. And according to Rav Loza Eidim Siddur, we can always ask the Eidim Siddur. So who did you give it? Whoever got it first, because that's the one that activated the star. The two witnesses. Let's ask what time did you see it? Because we don't need the star to be self-evident at the time of the day. It's the Eidim Siddur make it happen. Others say the Eidim Siddur don't really look at the watch what time it happens. Not that important. They just know it was on a Monday or on a Tuesday. They don't have to know it was 2 o'clock in the afternoon, because what it's not saying Eidus where you have a Hazom and all that kind of stuff. So Rav says, well, what do? Yachleiku, we divide. And Shmuel says, Shuda the Daina. Now, what exactly does Shuda the Daina? Literally means that Dayanim you throw. Shuda means throwing. Big machlek is Rashbam and Taisis and all the Rishaim. Rashi. In other instances, Shuda the Daina, one way the main Tam learns, this is his famous shit. Shuda Daina means the Bezin can do whatever they want. They're all powerful, and they can decide to give it to Reuben and Shimon having a dispute. Shuda the Daina, you know what? We'll give it to Reuben. Why? Because we want to. No reason. Shuda the Daina. They can just throw it, and whoever lands, it lands. The Rashi learns, Rashi shit is in Rashbam, and others that no. Shuda Daina means Bezin assesses. Who do we think this person is closer to? Let's say the donor. Is it closer to this person A or person B? And therefore, whatever we decide in our minds, that's the person that is going to end up with it. Exactly. Shuda the Daina. So our question is, now, if Shuda the Daina means that Bezin decide who is closer, then the Gemara is not asking a question for Shmuel. Why do you say Kol Da'alim Gavar? Why do you say Kol Da'alim Gavar? Let us say Shuda the Daina. That wouldn't be a question, because we don't know who. There's no owner here. There's a boat lying there out there, and or whatever it is. Two people come in, each one says it's mine. We have a voice say, how in the world do we know to assess who is it more likely as the real owner? We have no way. So the Gemara's question is not why don't you paskin like Shmuel Reiner. The Gemara's question is why don't you follow Rav and say Yachleiku? Over there we don't know who the star is. The star is only to one of them. We don't know who it is. Yachleiku. So why don't you say thing over here? So it's a kasha from Rav. But if you learn like Rabbeinu Tam, that Shuda Daina means Bezin just arbitrarily decides that goes with this person. So why doesn't he do the same thing here? We just Shuda Daina come in. So the Gemara has some of the big difference. Hasam lekam lemekam lemilsa. Over there, it doesn't matter. We'll never be able to prove it one way or another. Even if we know that this star was written 9 in the morning and this star was written 4 in the afternoon, it doesn't make a difference, because it doesn't kick in. Because if the way we're now with halachas that we're going at 8 o'clock, because we don't know what time, because it was not written in the star the time, it doesn't matter. Then the star doesn't take effect until the day's over. And if it doesn't take effect until the day's over, so which one is it? The both stars are exactly the same. So therefore, we never shy to ever verify what happened. We don't care what time the Adam signed. And I Adam Asidah, the Eidim don't at all remember, because generally speaking, they don't care what time it is. They don't bother looking. So we'll never be able to verify it. Because we'll never be able to verify it, therefore Rav says Yachleiku. In our case, one of them is Avodah Yisrael, one of them isn't. One of them has the father owned the property, one of them didn't. So why should we? It's not fair to say Yachleiku, because we're definitely doing the wrong thing. We're giving one of these people a property that he has no rights to. So in this case, we say so we can't ever verify it. So therefore we say Yachleiku. He could verify it. So let's bring Adam and everything else. Try to find out who's Avodah Yisrael it's really. Okay, well, how is they different? Now we learn if somebody, let's say, swaps a param for a chamoy. Now, what happens? This case can only be by swapping, because money we know doesn't really buy metal, and you have to make a mashiach. And once you make a mashiach, you know exactly when this cow gave birth. Before I did the mashiach, or after I did the mashiach. So talking about a case of chalipim where we both decide to exchange our, the donkey for a cow. So therefore, I'm going to take the donkey. The moment I make a mashiach on the donkey, automatically the cow or the ox, whatever it may be, belongs to the other party. And then a while later, we come there, we see there's a baby calf. Whose is it? And obviously each one says, oh, the original owner says it was mine. It happened while it was still under my ownership. And the other guy said, no, it happened right after we made this kinyan, that's mine. So what do we do in that case? The Yod gave birth. Or the Shif comes out there somewhere. The Yod gave birth. Here again, even though he was through Kesser, but the Mashiach has to stand here, B'shas Maisa. The vendor says it happened all before I sold it. The guy said, no, it happened after I purchased it. What do we do in this case? Yachleiku. Over here again, one of them is definitely not right, and yet we have no problem saying Yachleiku, because we know what to do. So why do you say kol down gavar? And when we say clearly here that the halach is Yachleiku, Nachman should have said the same thing. He should have said Yachleiku, even though we know that one of them is not right. That's the Gemara. You can't compare the two. Awesome over here. Lahai islay drora de mina ulahu islay drora de mina. Remember the beginning when we see a big machlek in the base of base. Rashi tastes what drora de mina means. So Rashi there, and the Ram here, drora de mina means an attachment to money. So the way that the Ram explains it here is, in the case of the part of the chamoy, each one is connected to the parah. One person is connected to the parah till a certain time, and the other person takes over from that time. But because they both have a connection to the parah, the best psak is, you know what? Since they both have a connection, we know what it is. Let's yachleiku. In the case of the arba, let's say, or metal, whatever it is, one of them has no shaykhs to this item, whatever the object is. One of them has no shaykhs to it. One of them is lying. One of them is not avoisai, and one of them it is avoisai. So you can't say yachleiku. Tosha says that here, and that the taich of Dorlaman is if we wouldn't have been, if there wouldn't be two disputants here, and we just saw the story, would the story itself bring out the suffix? It's be'etzem a suffix. We see a cow there, and we know there was an exchange, and we see a cow there with a baby calf next to it. Right away, we'll ask ourselves, when did this happen? Before or after the exchange? So the mice itself is be'etzem a suffix. If the mice itself etzem a suffix, then it warrants a yachleiku. If you see a boat parked in the marina, all we don't know who the owner is, but what do we think? There's an owner to it. So therefore, the story itself does not lend itself to the suffix. The only reason why there's a suffix is because these two people came along and created a suffix. In that case, we can't say achleiku. In that case, we'll say kol the alun devar. So anyway, further, I'm going to explain. Ahu isle reminder hacha hoyer either malo the ma be the malo the ma. One of them definitely is. One of them definitely isn't. Ami the doy goes now a step further. We say called the alam gavad min hashuk. If a guy comes off, a third party comes off the street, the hechziba, while these two guys are fighting it out, made a kinyan chazaka and fix something on the boat because it's hefker. Ain mitzian oisim yadi. Won't take it away. How do we? Why take it away? Because not only do we have a suffix which one of these two belongs to, who's a bechabot to either of the two. There's an arbor there, maybe it's hefker, and this guy, each one claims it. So, I can claim it's mine. So therefore, we're not going to take away from the third party unless we can prove that it belongs to one of these other ones. It says
because he's the one with possession.
Possession doesn't help, but we don't get intervene if we don't have an outcome to a proper outcome. We can include him to call down Gavar. I prove it. So the Gemara. No, the Bezdin won't get involved. That's the point here. So these two guys can fight out with the third guy. Let them bring rayas and proof and everything else. The lashon of the Rosh, if I remember correctly, is bein bekoyach bein berayis. Called the al gavar is either bekoyach literally, and the idea is whoever really belongs to is going to fight a lot harder, even though it might be a weaker person, but they're nutzik and they're not going to let go, and they'll scream at them in shul in front of everybody and bother them until they get back to their thing. It's bekoyach or berayis, and will go out of his way to try to find evidence. Then went further. The Tanya Lapria says Gezel Sharabim. What do you mean Gaz Sharabim? So Herdoi understood Lapria when he said Gazel and Sharabim means somebody steals from a Rabbim who are fighting with each other, and we have no proof one way or another. And Lav Shmei Gazel, he's not a Gazel because who's he stealing from? We don't even know belongs to either of the two. Forget about which of the two. Either of the two we don't know belongs to. Come to Rashi says Rabchia definitely didn't mean that at all. What did Rabchia mean? La'olam shmei gazlan. Of course, it's called a gazlan. Because this third person, Rashi says that this third person is a gazlan because he's admitting, I have no raya. I saw it lying here. You guys fight it. I just took it away. And he says no. Rashi disagrees. He says we will take away let's say the boat. We will take the boat away from this third party because he is a gazlan. Because right now, because these two people are fighting, is to us it tells us that one of these two people have a shaykhs to it and the other one doesn't, and this third party who is admitting that he has no shaykhs to it, he said, "I just saw it, I took it." So he said, "Well, we're not going to be able to get involved because we don't know who to get back to, if anybody." But Ravash says no, because you admit that you have no shaykhs to it, stay out of it. Let these two people fight it out, give back to them, and go back to Kol Dalin Gavar.
So in the case, not with the third person, but in some of the case where we have the two people fight, why is it any different to Moment I'm looking to suffer?
I'll just explain to you. Moment of Cholkin, first of all, you see this long faces here on the bottom of the page? Taser goes into all that. When we say Moment I'm looking to in fact, Taser wants to know, it seems that the loch is like Sumchas, because right here we're asking the whole time, let's do Cholkin. And Taser makes a difference when we say, when the Machlekes of the Chacham, Sumchas is when the Chacham Amoid. No, there's no Cheskes Moment. When does Sumchas say Mammon again? Even though there's a Cheskes Mammon Mudasava, we don't know Shoshanagach the powder. We don't know when it gored before or after we gave birth. Did it cause the animal to miscarry? But there's a Cheskes Mammon. We're taking money away from the mazik to pay. So that's where there's a Machlekes Chachamim. But where there's no Cheskes Mammon, everyone will be made that you can't say that you say Yachleku. In these cases over here, when there's no, it takes explains what's going on. But over here, there's no, because neither of them are holding on to it, but neither might have a shaykhs to it. We don't really automatically say Yachleku. So setting much further. So what does Rabchi mean? Umay loish me gazan. What does Rabchi mean when he says that you steal with Rabbi not a gazan? Shalei nitin lahashavan. As the Rashbam learns, it's talking about a vendor in a store that has weights that are skewed, his way, that he always ends up, weighing it a bit more than it is, and if you're such a kind of a guy, if you're stealing from a rabbin, you can never do tshuva. Who you can give money back to? You can never do tshuva. Even though we learn about you buy things that you buy things that benefit the public, but it's not a fulsome tshuva. And Tesis learns that it has to do with machlekes. We learned in Tanaim, if you stole from 5 people, and any day, remember we stole from 5 people, I don't know who it is, and a machlekes does he have to give each person back the money because he does, or he puts it on the table and said, look, I stole $100 from one of you. I don't know who it was. I took my coat, was hanging in the coat racks. Here, I put it on the table, I walk away. I'm top of keep had a big machlekes there. And that's what he means, that you can't really do tshuva unless you pay back each individual person. But putting the money on the table, like Rav said, is not a proper tshuva because somebody else might take this, they might argue between themselves, each one will claim the money is theirs, and it won't end up with the right person. Okay, we'll stop over here.